Okay, dude, if you can learn detachment, it is a superpower and will literally change your life, I promise. So let's rewind it back to 2011, and I'm 20 years old, right before I deployed on my first combat deployment to Afghanistan. Now, I was in the Marine Corps infantry for 4 years, and I remember right before I went over, one of the guys I knew lost his legs from his first deployment. It's one of the guys I was training with. The unit I was going with had just got back from a really traumatic deployment, and a lot of their guys had been killed, and now we were about to go back just less than a year later. Granted, the area that we went to wasn't near as bad as the guys who went before us, but what happened is we still got in firefights over there, and we still had to go on foot patrols every single day. So we did a bunch of training for a year leading up to this. Training on how to spot IEDs, which are improvised explosive devices. An improvised explosive device, IED, is a homemade bomb that the Taliban buries, and you can't see them a lot of the times. They put them in water bottles, they put them in the ground, and they disguise them in ways that you can't really tell. So, I mean, they're hidden, covered up in sand. And the guy that I knew who had his leg blown off stepped on a bomb buried under the sand. So, as I go over there, I've got all this running through my mind as a, like a 50-50 chance that I could live or die or lose a leg. And, this really weighed on me heavily for especially the first few months. I was always watching extra close where I was stepping, but after a certain point, I basically just had to let go. Now, we did get in some firefights, and I knew some people who died when I was there, but fortunately, I made it back safe, and anyone that I knew really closely was mostly okay there. Now, that's because it wasn't my time to go, and I just let go of that. I just completely let go. Now, maybe the kind of detachment you want is from a girl in a relationship. Maybe you're caught up in thinking about a relationship that you just want to let go of. Like, I totally get it, I've been there. Maybe the relationship is ending or it's already ended. She's not texting you back. You have to let go of the outcome and just focus on yourself, your life, your hobbies, work out, spend time with your friends. Go just have fun and enjoy your life. And don't worry about it. There's no point in worrying about what you can't control and worrying about whether she's gonna text you back or whether she's gonna come back. Like, that's all irrelevant. I know you're probably thinking, well, Brian, that's easy for you to say. Yeah, fair enough, because I'm not in it like you are right now. But I have been there many times before. There were countless times with exes when they would say that they would want to break up or they would, want space, that I would just literally get in a frenzy about it. And I would stress about it when, she would text me back and I was heartbroken and it was over. Like, I was a mess. But that only made it worse, and it made me more miserable, and that energy pushes her away even more. So listen, bro, if it's meant to be, it will be. If she's gonna come back, or if you're gonna end up back together, it will work itself out and she will let you know. If it's not meant to work out, she will also let you know by never talking to you again. So consider it a blessing either way. Now, I remember this one girl I was with. It was one of the most severe struggles I had with being able to let go of this girl. But one key principle of life is you learn lessons from every relationship. It doesn't have to be seen as a failure. But after I did an assessment of this relationship, introspection, I kind of just picked it apart and then grew from it. And that's what you do too. Because there are valuable lessons that can be learned in every relationship, and it's really just how you frame it in your mind that determines the value of that experience. Make sense? So this one girl that I dated for a few months when I was like 26, we saw each other a handful of times, only dated for about 3 months. We met on a dating app, and we were both in college, and I was a few years older than her. Now, this girl ended up getting pregnant by me, and I think at first she was in shock because she was still living with her parents at 23. I was like 26, both trying to finish college. And I mean, the last thing that we needed was a kid. But as a man, I was willing to step up to whatever she needed or wanted to do. Now, this is crazy because a very similar situation happened to me when I was 21, when I was in the Marines. Fast forward 5 years later, it's happening again in a different situation, but I'm gonna explain why. So this girl ended up having an abortion, and she went completely cold on me, the girl from when I was 21. And then when I was 26, similar kind of thing happened. Like, she went cold on me and ghosted me for a while. Very, very weird. But back to the story about the girl that I was with when I was 26. So she ended up having an abortion, unfortunately, and she went completely cold on me, completely silent, ghosted. And I felt terrible because I wanted to be there for her for this difficult time that she was going through, but she was completely closed off and cold. And for a whole year, I swear I was hung up on this girl. Tried to reconnect with her several times just to get some kind of closure on the situation. And I remember blowing up her phone at one point and just deciding that I was gonna completely just lay off. I was gonna completely pull out of the situation and just not talk to her. Because no matter what I tried to say, she wouldn't budge. And so I just went quiet for like 4 months. I heard back from her eventually and she tried to get together, but it was just always some bullshit games, like playing hot and cold. And it was just, you know, hindsight looking back, I get that she was quite young. She was dealing with a lot. I can't imagine what this girl was going through or feeling in her own world, but I just didn't get it at all. We just weren't on the same page. It was honestly a pretty fucked up situation. And this girl really had some serious issues with attachment. But you know, I also had mine too. So I saw her almost a year later posting with her new boyfriend. And this drove me up a wall because she had told me that she didn't want a boyfriend, wasn't ready for a commitment, like the whole 9 yards. And I felt betrayed because I felt like she never even gave our connection a chance. And I thought after that dark phase of the abortion and everything, I thought like after that was over that maybe she could have a fresh start because that's what she was saying. So throughout this whole year, I was like obsessing about this girl, the situation, the outcome. I had fixated what the outcome was going to be, and I gave this girl so much power over me, when ultimately I was the one with the problem. Why? Like, well, maybe this girl had her own issues, but I wasn't very focused on any other areas of my life. And I was giving this girl the power. I was literally thinking about this girl all the time. It's the same thing that happened with the other girl I was with in the Marines. The outcome was quite similar because I didn't learn that lesson back then. And so that's what happens in life. If you don't recognize lessons that are meant to be learned, life has an interesting way of bringing you a different person with the same lesson until you learn it. It's called karma, whatever you want to call it. Lessons your soul is meant to learn in this lifetime. It's why you see people who keep getting themselves into toxic situations. They keep dating the same kind of toxic people and you wonder why. And it's because, you know, they haven't done that work within. The awareness isn't there. So the specific lesson I needed to learn from this situation and from the previous situation was just being able to let go in life, which is something a lot of us struggle with. So because I didn't quite learn that lesson years ago and learn to control my emotions better, it was reintroduced into my life again. But with life, you really just have to let go of the outcome and focus on yourself. That's all you can do. See, if it's love that you're trying to attract into your life, if you're feeling like you miss that girl because of how she made you feel and all the fun you had together, what you thought it should have been, give that all to yourself, bro. Give all that love and care to yourself. So for one, start working out every day and building a body that gives you confidence. Find hobbies or other things that you enjoy doing, putting your time into. Focus on your work, your school, your studies, a side project, your skills that you're learning. Take courses. See, when you're filling your calendar with productive things, you don't have time to sit around and think about girls because your mind is occupied by other things. Two, because over time, as you begin to pour into yourself, you start to fill your cup up of love for yourself. And how you do this is by taking care of yourself and finding what you love to do in life and investing in that, because when you do that, you're giving love to yourself. You're giving yourself everything that you need. When you take care of you first, this is something I wish I had learned years ago, but I learned this about 8 years ago. Also, when you show that you care less, that also makes you more attractive because it shows that you aren't desperate and weak and that you have options. So what I mean is, like, when you show the girl that you like really don't really care that much and that you're so busy with other things in your life, it shows that your whole life doesn't revolve around her. Again, I'm not saying you completely act like you don't care, but you know, when it shows that you actually have a life going on, and if she doesn't want to be a part of that life, and you're okay without her. So what I want you to do is go out and meet other girls as well. Look, I was single for like 7-8 years, and it was one of the best things I ever did for myself, because you learn to love yourself, which takes a long time, and no one else can love you like how you can love you. And your mom, yeah, but moms are a different kind of love though. And when you take the time to fill up your cup of love for yourself, you will have an overflowing cup that you can also share with the right girl who can complement your life and add value to it. And when you take care of you first, eventually she will come around. They will find you. When you become the man, she will find you. Look, there's millions of girls out there, and the one that it's not working out with right now that you're thinking about, she's not that great. Now, look, I know being caught up in it right now, it feels like they are the only one for you and they're the perfect match, but they're not. That's a reality. There's tons of girls out there and you can find another one. But I want you to fill your schedule up with things to improve your overall life. And like I said, if it's meant to be, she will come back. And the situations can be very nuanced with this kind of stuff. So you can decide what you want to do with that at that point, if she decides to come back, whatever the case is. But honestly, don't even worry about it. What's for you will find you and stay. What's not for you won't. It's very simple. So it's really just about internalizing this concept of whether or not this works out, I'm good either way, right? That's what you want to embrace. It's quite simple actually. And it's easier to embrace this when you are focusing on, building an aesthetic body because you're going to the gym almost every day. You're focused on food and meal prepping. You're reading, you're learning, you're growing, you're focused on work and school. Maybe you're taking a course, you're learning about sales or marketing or copywriting or whatever, like content creator, just some specific skill that you're learning or a trade. Then you might have some time to, go out and be social with your friends and meet other girls. See, you fill your time with other things. That's what it's all about. You have a packed day and literally women should be low on the priority list. Also, when you begin to care less, like I said before, it's more attractive. And I'm not saying you're acting like a dick, but when you are a really busy guy and you have other options as well for women, you really don't have this scarcity mindset. It's more of an abundance mindset because you have an awesome life. And so you have all this abundance in your life that you have built for yourself. You're not really sweating over one girl who it doesn't work out with. You know what I mean? Again, now I'm not talking about being a dickhead or, any of this super toxic red pill content they talk about treating women like shit, playing all kinds of games. What I mean is you can detach because you have other priorities in your life, and a woman should never be your first priority. I'm not telling you that when you have a girlfriend, you should act like you don't care, that you shouldn't be a priority because then she's gonna leave you, but you need to be on your mission as a man. And she gets that. If she is a high quality woman, a mature woman, she gets that and wants you to be on your mission. She doesn't want to be the center of your world despite what you hear on TV and movies and what she says. So it's an inside out job. Ultimately, you attract what you are. So if you do the inner work, your outer world will manifest what reflects on the inner world. One of the biggest lessons about life I am still trying to fully embrace is to just enjoy the process more, because the journey in life is literally all life is. I'm getting better about it than I was in previous years, but it's still a battle. Just trying to enjoy the present moment and focus on what you can control right now, dude. You can control what you think about, how you spend your time, and where your energy goes. So remember that. All right, guys, if you like this video, I want you to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.